What's going on, guys? It is Coast Central here, and my review for today is Mako at SeaWorld Orlando. This coaster is a B&M hypercoaster and opened in 2016 as the tallest and fastest coaster in Orlando. Mako is 200 feet high with a drop of 200 feet. It is 73 miles per hour and is 4,760 feet long. Since this is a B&M hypercoaster, you are going to be floating out of your seat on almost every Airtime hill. So when you first walk into the entry plaza, you'll see all of this theming. It makes you feel like you're underwater with all these waves and the shipwreck. It really does look good. So you sit in the train and you are greeted by these clamshell restraints. Now these are obviously one of the best restraints you'll ever have on a coaster. They are absolutely so comfortable. If you leave them up, like some of the times I rode Mako, if you leave them up, like if you push up your legs, they'll push down, and then they'll think that they weren't putting up your legs, and they'll think that's just you're big, so that means you have a ton of room to ride, which is actually very fun. On the drop, you are flying out of your seat, and of course on the air times you're flying out of your seat. If you do that, it's absolutely awesome, so you should definitely do that. So then you get in the clamshell restraints. If you don't do that, they are very comfortable. So you get in there and you leave the station. I'm going to be going through this whole ride element by element and saying how good each element is. So after you leave the station, you go up this 200-foot lift hill. The speed up the lift hill is pretty decent. You do get some great views of the park. Like you get to see Disney World, some of Universal, Fun Spot Kissimmee, and Fun Spot Orlando. It's a great view from up there. And you go down this massive 200-foot drop. It is absolutely insane. Like in the back, on many coasters, you are getting most of the coasters, the drop is better than the back, so you kind of get whipped over the back. But on the other parts of the ride, especially Mako, front's better because you're the first one to get on the Airtime hill. So you go up and you go down that massive drop. It is absolutely fun, just fantastic drop. And you go through this massive bank. It is a great element. It's just a great element. I mean, I haven't really seen the element on any other B&M hypercoasters, which is really cool. But I mean, I like the element. It's a really good element. It's huge though. I mean, it's really fun. So then you go through there and you go through this massive Airtime hill, probably the best Airtime hill on the ride. It is fantastic. You have some of the best floater airtime you'll get on any coaster. You absolutely flying out of your seat. That's so because it doesn't have a trim, which is really good. You're absolutely flying. It's a great Airtime hill. And you go through this hammerhead turn, which doesn't really make sense because this coaster is called Mako. So you go through. It's a good element. It's fun. It's kind of pull some G's. And then you go through the second Airtime hill. It would be good, but it has the trims, which is some of the worst trims ever on a coaster. You are just trimmed. I mean, it slows you down so much. I mean, it isn't good. Like the Airtime hill isn't as good as it would if it didn't have the trims. It's a fine Airtime hill though. So then you go through this other Airtime hill and then bank to your right, which is. On most of those Airtime hills, or most of those times where you go up and bank, you don't really get that much airtime. But on this one, I did get some decent airtime on that bank. So you go through the bank, and then you go through the speed ejector / floater Airtime hill, mostly ejector. But this is some good airtime right there. You are flying out of your seat. If you're in the front row, you're absolutely flying. It's just a fantastic Airtime hill. It's just speed ejector Airtime hill, yeah. And then you go up and hit the mid-course brake run. Doesn't really slow down the ride that much, but it kind of gives you a break. So you don't it kind of for most people, it'll give them a break. So you go down the drop, you whip over in the back, and you go up this Airtime hill. It's an average Airtime hill for a B&M Hyper. Nice floater Airtime hill. And then you go through where the entry plaza is. You go through some nice banks, and then if you sit on the left side, you go over the water. And if you sit on the left side, it feels like you can touch the water. It's a really cool element. I bet some people would say it would be really cool if it had a splash effect like Manta does. I think it's just good as it is. So then you hit the brake run. It was a good ride. You just ended a great ride. So let's talk about the smoothness. This coaster is absolutely butter smooth. No cons about the smoothness. Butter smooth, no rattle, no roughness. It's time. For the overall score, I'm going to give Mako a 9. A great score for all coasters. I rarely give out of 10. I'm tempted to give this coaster a 9.5. It is definitely the best hypercoaster I've ever ridden. Insane. I mean, it's just a fantastic ride. So hope you guys enjoyed my review of Mako at SeaWorld Orlando, and I'll see you guys later.